Awaiting download. Podcast download complete. It's the Super Pow Her Podcast.
Dia Direct, the fly and fab go-to girlfriend, is all about bringing you interviews
With celebrities
information
and her super friends.
and inspiration that take your life to the next level.
Dia Direct gets real.
She doesn't just interview, she goes in. Dia Direct makes a difference.
With Super Pow Her.
Hey now, girl, this is Dia Direct, and I gotta warn you, today's show may take you to someplace special, honey, because we are talking about being in love with a narcissist. When it comes to love, who we love, and how we experience love, we don't always make the best choices, ladies, and today's guest says that she fell in love with a narcissist. Not once, but twice, child. And now she is ready to talk all about it for herself, for you and me. Baby, you are going to learn some things today about brokenness, breakthroughs, and I pray that you will experience healing too. Girl, listen. We all want to be loved and have a happy life.
Yes.
But the process to getting to your happy life, the process to getting to your purpose is sometimes bumpy.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
But let me just talk a little bit about you.
Yeah.
So you, Jillian,
Yes.
JJ on the
I
radio.
got my government name.
Yes. You've been in radio for a very long time.
Yeah, over 20 years.
You're an author of a new book, and your
Yes.
book is called
Respect My Crown.
Respect My...
Respect it.
Put some respect on that crown.
Okay. That's right.
Put some respect on
Yes.
that crown.
Put it on there.
So I want to know what that means.
Yeah.
And let's just talk a little bit about that for a second.
Sure.
So you've been in radio, you've been in the public eye, and you're an author, you're a mom, you're a single mom.
Yes, single mom.
And so a lot of journeys, a lot of stories.
Yes, a lot of struggles.
Okay, but some highlights too, right?
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
So before we get into it, just give me a sense of what would you say has been your biggest accomplishment so far?
Creating an entire human being who is a phenomenal kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I know people always are like, my kid is great. My daughter, she speaks fluent Chinese. She's 11. And she loves it. You know what I mean? She's authored her own book.
No, I saw your daughter on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, ching ching shang chuang, ching 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 chang.
Yeah. So her book, You Are Still a Winner, and talking about how, failure, like she failed at this Chinese speech contest. So she wrote a book about it. And, she's a cool kid, like, and just giving and loving. And that's my biggest accomplishment right there. Like being able to mold somebody into an amazing human being.
I think that's a good segue because speaking of books and failure, my second book was called Failure is Fuel.
Ooh.
And I remember some people saying like, why would you say that? Why would you say failure is fuel? And it's because when I tapped into my superpower, which is your ability to do what you do. Usually it's your soft skills, but it's your ability to do something at a level something that for others seems ordinary, but you can have extraordinary results. That's usually what your superpower is. It's something that is unique to how you get results, right?
Yeah.
And then people are attracted to you as a result of it.
Yeah.
And so I think it's so cool that your daughter at that early age took something that she seemingly failed at,
right?
And then she leveraged it, right?
Yeah.
Hello, which is that's what makes it fuel.
Yes.
So, but what happens is we get stuck.
Oh yeah.
In the guilt, the shame, the judgment of whatever we think that failure is, personal relationship, your career, etc.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times people don't get to that next place, right?
Yeah.
Where it can become your superpower or where it can become your fuel.
That's right.
In my case, which I think you can relate to in some ways, it was very much about failed relationships.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
have really embraced the idea of sharing your truth publicly.
Yeah.
And it has had positive impacts and maybe not some in other ways. So what happened and why did you decide to be public with it?
Yeah. So I was coming out of an emotionally abusive relationship, and the relationship was public. And it was the first time anyone has ever seen me with a boyfriend. And I didn't even realize it until towards the end of the relationship. You know, I knew I was giving so many people hope. Anybody who saw these pictures of me and him on Instagram, it was like, oh my God. On paper, it looks like the cutest couple. They're both in the community. They're both doing great work. And everything you saw, it was just a lie. It was just
the
a
whole
lie.
time?
The whole, I don't want to say the whole time, but because in the beginning it was great, just like any type of relationship with a narcissist. It always starts off great. You know what I mean? I read something that said it takes like maybe 4 months before you see the true colors of a narcissist. And so by then you're already wrapped up into their web. So, so I shared my story in May. I did a video blog and I let people know, you know.
You can still see it on JJ on the mic.
Yes.
On Instagram. It's still there.
Yeah, it's still there. It's going to be there. It's on YouTube as well. So I shared the story because of a few reasons. One, I'm tired of us looking at Instagram and social media and thinking, oh my God, this person has the perfect life.
Right.
I wish that I could be like them. And, you know, we have these unrealistic expectations because of social media.
People just show you their best life.
Yeah, you see the highlights. That's
And
it.
And sometimes it's not even your best life. It's just a picture that you took after you crawled from under the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Or it was an old photo that you finally posted.
Right.
Or an inspirational quote that you really need yourself.
That you really telling you don't even know. I'm posting that because I'm trying to tell myself that. And you like, girl, she's so inspirational.
Yes, get it together.
No. And so that was one big reason. And then the second reason is just I felt I had to get it out. And there were a couple of people who said to me, you know, including my therapist, like, you need to tell your story because you're physically getting sick. And so that night before, I prayed on what to say. I sat with one of my friends and kind of mapped out some ideas, like what are things that I really need to say. I know what things people may say, so let me address all of those things in this video. You know what I mean? And that morning that I did the video, it was one of my friends. She prayed for me for 15 minutes. I was like, hey girl, look, I need the real prayer because I need everything to come out my mouth to be nothing but truth, because we can exaggerate some stuff. And I said, I don't even want, because we're good at that. You embellish stories and stuff. I said, let everything be truth that comes out of my mouth. She prayed on me. I called over my homeboy. I said, let's do these videos. He doesn't even know what it's about. He's sitting there crying the whole time. I'm like, dude, like this is serious business. He said, oh my God, I know people who have gone through what you are going through. And that night I had 130 DMs that night from people who were saying, I've gone through it. I'm going through it. I'm going through depression. I want to heal. I've dated a narcissist. And then there were women who actually dated that person who reached out to me as well saying, hey, I know what you went through because I went through the same thing with him too.
Let's stop right there for a second. Define narcissist.
A narcissist, if you do like the scientific term, it's a person who has an inflated sense of self. It's a personality disorder.
Donald Trump.
When you see narcissists, just put Donald Trump's picture right there. Well, Donald Trump might even be a sociopath. He's on a whole nother level.
Right.
But in our terms, you could call a narcissist, it's a person who has had, at some point there's been something traumatic that's happened to them, right? And it could be abuse, it could be abandonment, it could be any of those things. And it happened when they were younger. And what happens is they have created this shell around themselves, a protective shell, because they feel worthless. And the shell says, I am bigger than life. So they do it to protect them.
Real talk and tools to reboot, realign, and reignite fire in your life. It's Superpower Her with Dia Direct.
Some of us look soft on the outside, but we're hard as stone inside. Others appear hard on the outside, but are really marshmallows inside. If this is you, it probably means you're often misunderstood. It may even be hurting your love life, brand, or professional growth. This year, let's be more strategic and intentional. Soft is the new power book, has the answers you need, guiding you on how to tap into your soft side and using it as a strategic edge. Be more intentional by using emotional intelligence to communicate. Learn and leverage the art of becoming a man whisperer. Go to Amazon.com and order your copy of Soft is the New Power today.
It's where superfly women testify. Superpower Her.
Right? To protect them from what they know is on the inside.
The insecurities.
The insecurities, the pain, the guilt, the anger, all of that. And they say, I am better than sliced bread. And so they grow up believing that. And it's bad. So we know plenty of people who are narcissists. Mm-hmm. You can tell they are always blaming.
Mm. Yeah, give us some characteristics.
They deflecting. So, we were just talking about that, hey, if I address something, hey, why are these women calling your phone at all hours of the night? Well, remember that time such and such called you and I didn't complain about it. And you're like, wait.
That wasn't the question.
The question was.
That wasn't the question.
And then, so they're good at deflecting. They want to put it back onto you. They are good at, putting that guilt on you, guilting, gaslighting. Gaslighting. Oh gosh. So gaslighting is when you're
Is that a scientific term?
You know what? This is what I heard. And
Okay.
my girl Josie just broke this down to me because I never knew the origin of it, but it came from a movie where a guy, I guess it was back in the 60s, he was trying to get rid of his wife. Like he was like, back in the day, I guess it wasn't right to divorce. Mm-hmm. So you had to, you would try to get her in like an asylum. You would try to convince people she was crazy so she would just have to go away. And so what he would do was he would blow out the pilot light in the stove. So 1 minute she would go and she would be trying to cook and she's like, oh, it's out. And then she would turn back around, come back later and then it was on to where she felt like she was going crazy. And he was basically, it's like playing a game. Mm-hmm. Like, look at this. And you really start to believe, like, am I bananas? And so it is a real term. It is real life. So when you think of like, I was trying to give like a real situation, if one day you say, I don't like sushi. I hate sushi. Mm-hmm. And then the very next day, you're like, let's go out and get some sushi. And you're like, wait, but yesterday you said, and you really feel confused. Like, and then it's like, what do you mean?
Am I tripping?
And then,
right.
What do you mean? And then when you would say, like, you just told me yesterday you didn't like sushi. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I never said that. And you're like, okay, all right. But those things happen often. And you just feel crazy. Mm-hmm. What else are some of the characteristics? They're arrogant. Most narcissists, they think highly of themselves. If you go on social media, they probably have more than the average pictures of themselves, where they always have this grandiose story. Like, I saved 90 kids in Africa and all by myself. I took out a boat, and you're just like, dang. And they have two roles, really. They're either the hero or the victim. And that's it. All the time. That's the only two roles they can play. I'm either the hero, I'm out here saving the world, I'm saving these people, or I'm the victim. Woe is me. Everybody.
And so that usually plays itself out, too, in the careers that they choose or that they're attracted to.
And you will find them as leaders. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, narcissists they'll be leaders. Mm-hmm. They'll run companies because, they're going to, whether their intentions are pure or not, I doubt it, but it's like, I have to show people that I am a leader.
Mm-hmm. Now let's just kind of talk through this for a second, because it takes a lot of courage to be in a public relationship and be be liked and followed as a result of what people think you represent.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons that I began this podcast is for the same reasons that you said you told your story, which is that we're not all telling the truth.
Oh, yeah.
And people are literally making life-changing decisions based upon what they think is true. Oh, yeah. And my goal, which is to really shed light on, even in the good, even in the success, life still happens.
Yeah.
And, and sometimes they happen simultaneously. Sometimes people only show you their highlights, but in the middle of all that, their lowlights are like trying to take them down. However, one of the reasons that people do that is because that's the part that other people are drawn to. They gravitate towards, and if you're a brand where money is involved, then people are often buying into your brand. Oh yeah, right. Yeah. So there's a, and I don't want to make, it's not a fair comparison to kind of compare it to, let's say, somebody who's in a domestic violence situation, but the concept of being trapped by prestige. Oh yeah. Being trapped by your brand. Oftentimes, and I'm sure some of you can relate. Protecting somebody that you love who's in a position of power because you don't want to out them. Yeah. But also protecting yourself because you don't want people to know what your areas of weakness or insecurities may be. So it can be risky, is my point, in sharing this stuff. How much of that weighed on you? Yeah, a lot. I mean, I had to think about all of that, and keep in mind, when you share your story, it doesn't mean that you don't love the person that hurt you, right? So I still had this, oh my God, how is he going to feel? And this, but at some point, you have to put yourself first. If I'm really, really getting sick, like, this anxiety is taking over, and I'm like, I do have to pour this out. And then there's the part about, not letting people down, the persona, if I've given you this vision of this happily ever after dream that you've had, and then now I'm snatching that away by saying, hey guys, so all you saw on Instagram, like, y'all have no idea what was happening behind the scenes, but it's so necessary because the fact of the matter is, this is what's real. This is real life. And I've gone through this before, so I had to step back and say, like, well, crap, gosh, is it me? What am I doing wrong? And it's not necessarily me, other than the fact that I'm not trusting my intuition. That I can own that. But I realized so much about who I am and the type of person I am and why I attract these people. What did you learn? I'm an empath. I take on everybody else's crap. I'm like, hey, give it to me. All your pain, all your hurt, I'll hold it for you. How does that feed you? It's just, I just feel like being a good individual, like, I'll take it on because I can show you that I am the person you need me to be. You know what I mean? Like, when you look at the dynamic of, like, my mother, who was not anywhere like that at all. I've been focusing so hard on, don't be like your mom, don't be like your mom, don't be like your mom, right? And it's like, we got to get past that. At some point, let's get past that. So just be who you are. Don't even think about it, right? And I found myself wanting so badly just to prove to people, like, I'm that ride or die person. And it gets you in trouble. Okay, so I got a couple of questions about that. First of all, I want to talk about the intuition and what were your red flags? What was going on in your spirit that you didn't listen to? Because we all have had those red flag moments where you knew there were, and you could physically feel it. When I got married the first time, I physically felt a heaviness that I could not get past. It literally stopped me in my tracks, and it was uncomfortable. Yeah. But sometimes the heart wants what it wants, and that you will ignore your truth in order to get what it is that you think you want. And how many of us, whether it was a job, whether it was what you majored in college, or relationship, or whatever, and you just, or the house, with everything you get comes something else that we didn't anticipate. You know what I mean? There is a cost. Okay? In some way, shape, or form, you are going to pay for it. But you said something so interesting to me, because I want to hear what that intuition thing was. But so I do these girlfriend power parties. And one of the things that we talked about in my last one was how so many of us, myself included, are living our lives running away from who our moms were.
Oh, yeah.
And we're still having we're emotionally underdeveloped.
Oh,
and we're still
gosh,
that 13-year-old girl or whatever that trauma was that happened in your life. You're still responding to that. Like if you were poor, so you're like, we were broke, we didn't have food in the refrigerator, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to make sure I never go through that again. And whatever your that again is, we're always responding to it. But you said we have to get past it. Here's the thing though. You can't get you can't get over what you don't face and deal with.
Face it. That's
but
good.
but also you have to have new tools.
Yeah, you gotta have new tools.
Which is why,
and we don't have the tools because who's giving them to us?
and you went to therapy, which is something we don't do.
Oh yeah.
I think we're in a season now, y'all, where I think people are we're ready to give ourselves permission to embrace our humanity.
Oh, yeah.
And we recognize we've gone so far to the left on this strong black woman thing that it's almost like imploded.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And so it's too much.
It is.
It's not realistic. That's like mechanical. It's overly controlling, and it's not fair to who you are. Nobody's strong in every area of their life. So yes, we do have to get past it, but what I realize is I'm always going to repeat certain mistakes until I get new or better information on how to do it differently.
Yeah. Oh God. But you know what? And while you're saying that, you're just making me think about, it's not even about getting past it, because when you think about getting past it means kind of like, I'm got to go around it. We really got to get through it.
Amen. That's good.
And getting through it means, okay, what are those tools? Is it therapy? Is it, how do I get self-awareness? I got to take time to really look at myself in the mirror and literally, physically look at myself in the mirror every day and tell myself, you're not that 13-year-old girl anymore. You are worthy. You are amazing. You are you have to do it. And it's work.
We'll be back with more Superpower Her with your host, Dia Direct.
Hey, we all want that upgrade, right? And we do. We upgrade our hair, our homes, even our cars. But sis, I want to know, what are you willing to do to upgrade your life and your heart? You've probably thought about it, but haven't done anything about finding a life coach. So today is the day. Learn more about finding a life coach to partner with you and to help you reach your happy place, that next level that you know you're supposed to be at. Go to diadirect.net. That's DEYA Direct. Click on the coaching tab and schedule your appointment today.
Real talking tools to reboot, realign, and reignite fire in your life. It's Superpower Her with Dia Direct.
Girl, I looked at myself in the mirror. My therapist said, tell yourself you love yourself every day. She said, call yourself by the nickname your parents gave you.
It's good.
And so my nickname was Sweeta. The first day I looked in the mirror and I said, I love you, Sweeta.
Yep.
I was like, why is this so hard?
It is.
The second day, it was like, bloop, 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 bloop. And then as I kept going, and now we're like on a month later, I am in the mirror. Hey, I love you, Sweeta. I love you, Jillian. I love you, JJ. I love you, girl. You're amazing. And now but it's a process.
Okay, can we have a Sweeta moment? What was Sweeta? Who was Sweeta?
Sweeta, no, it's so weird.
Give me Sweeta, girl.
My mom used to work these cash registers, and the name of the cash register was Sweeta. And when I would come and ask her, like, what are you doing, Mommy? She would say, I'm working Sweeta. Like, I'm working Sweeta. And I would think she was calling me Sweeta, so I would tell people that was my name. It's really the name.
It's so cute.
I know, it's corny.
So that was cute. It's cute. So, what was Sweeta? When you did that first look in the mirror, and you said, I love you, Sweeta, what was the hardest part about that?
Yeah.
Did you feel like Sweeta wasn't lovable?
I did.
Why?
I did, because the whole time that I've grown up, I didn't feel the love that I felt like I needed. I believe my mother loved me the best way she knew how.
That's good.
I believe that.
That's
I really do.
You said the best way she knew how. That's right. She didn't have she only had. She didn't have the tools. To do it any better than she did.
But I know that there was something else I really wish that I could have had, and I didn't. And so now you're right. Like that's what I've been searching for in all these other people and all these other men specifically. And now it's like, all right, hey, create it for yourself. Love yourself more than ever. I feel like all this time, like I did 3 years before I met this last guy, 3 years by myself. And I really thought I was spending time loving myself. And I still just found out now, oh my God, I was just loving myself on the surface. I still didn't go deep enough, because when you go deep, it's painful.
So, okay, so I'm going to go into just a Dia Direct moment for a second.
Okay.
Here's the thing about when we think we have gotten over things. Because I mean, and I know this as a life coach, but listen, regardless of what your profession is, no matter how smart you are, no matter how much we've been through things, I say it understanding that I will still continuously be tested.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'm going to pass the test.
Yep.
But you know what, JJ? I don't always pass the test. Even when I know the right thing to do. That's what the Bible says. To him that knows to do good, evil is always present. You have to always be tested, right?
Yes.
So the only way to really know if we're over anything, anybody, is to be tested. Like, that's why we have to be very careful about being judgmental, y'all. Because we look at people, we look at mistakes, situations they're in, and I was that way with my mom.
Yeah.
How could you be in another relationship? How could you marry that guy?
Yeah.
How could you compromise our home, our lifestyle, everything, name of love for somebody who, as a 13-year-old, can see.
Right, you're like,
that ain't love. Like, that is not a healthy situation for you to be in.
Yeah.
And then my mother would say to me, "You'll understand when you get older." But see, then I went to college.
Like, I know it all. I'm
you
good.
know, I got degrees and all that kind of stuff.
I'm
smart.
Like,
I'm not me, not Miss Black USA.
Yeah,
Child, please.
No, can't tell. I can't tell her nothing.
Nothing.
She got a crown. She got to know.
And we're going to talk about the crown in a minute, girl. 'Cause you got a crown, too.
Yes.
And when I had more than one marriage, and all of a sudden I said to my mom, "I'm sorry. Like, I understand.
Like, I get it.
Like, I understand." Because she'd be like, "Well, girl, I have needs." And I'm like, "Okay."
You're like, all right.
But still.
Yeah.
And just in my own esteem, understanding what it's like for everybody else to say you're talented, for everybody else to say you have it, and you become such, and this is the thing, even I think for narcissists, you become so addicted to praise.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That you when you're not getting it, you will do whatever it is to get that fresh.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
You have to have it, because the truth is you're not really sure if you're good enough.
Yeah.
And that plays itself out in many ways.
Oh gosh.
In my life, but I realized that, as you said, I had to get through it.
Yeah.
I had to face that about myself. That maybe, even though everybody else thought I was confident, maybe I really wasn't as confident as because I was an actress. I can act.
Yeah.
Confident.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's what I mean. Behind closed doors, people have no idea. There were two things my therapist said a couple of months ago. She said she was concerned about as I was leaving therapy. She said, "I'm concerned you don't have a tribe in Houston, which is where I live."
You don't?
I don't have it. Like my closest friends don't live there. They're all scattered across the country. But in Houston, I don't. My circle is like me. And then she said, I'm concerned that you really don't believe that you are worthy. I was like, still? And she's like, I see it in your conversation. I see it when you talk. Like, when people show you praise, and you're always like, but you know what I mean? But no. And she was like, can you accept what people are actually saying about you and believe it? And it's like, you know, when you've been with so many people, relationship wise, and my mother, and you've heard, you know,
What you're not.
what you're not, and you've always struggled to, I want to show you, like, I'm this, and it's a struggle, and you're so concerned with other people that I never showed myself. So now I'm seeing, like, the things that I have to do to show myself, and that intuition is still a big part of that. Trusting myself is the biggest part of self-awareness. I have to be able to first trust myself You know what I mean? Girl.
So, okay. So let's get into it. Talk to me about where you are in that process and what's a sign that you've ignored before in your intuition that you can now say, okay, that was that moment, that was that red flag. Was it quiet? Was it loud? What was that?
In this past relationship, it was something that was it would be considered so small. Mm-hmm. So don't roll your eyes at me.
Oh.
But every time I called him, when he was still in Atlanta, every time we spoke on the phone, he was always in his car. Mm-hmm. Every time.
Okay, so give me times.
12 in the afternoon, midnight, 6 o'clock p.m., in the morning. You're always in your car or you're headed to the car. Hey, I'm going to call you back because I'm about to go to the car. Mm-hmm. And to me...
And when they were in the car, they would call you.
Yeah, they would call me. But it just was... It's something that was weird to me, but I didn't want to address it because I didn't want to be the chick that's, why you ask me all these questions or you must got insecurities.
You didn't want to be labeled.
I didn't want to be labeled. Because this is what we do as women. We try to be real chill. I'm that girl that you ain't got to worry about. I'm not that chick. And in actuality, we should ask questions.
And guess what? But here's the thing. Maybe you are that chick.
and maybe that's okay.
But it's that judgment. It's still another form of judgment. So I'm going to adjust me to make me good enough for you. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that we can't all grow, because I think we should always be on the journey of doing better, learning more, right? I'm not about that program where some women are like, well, that's just how I am and you just need to accept me.
No.
Well, no, that's, you might be good, but is good enough?
Yeah.
In every circumstance, you know what I mean? If you can do better or if it's not getting you the results that you really, really want, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I am insecure, or sometimes I just don't feel good about it. And sometimes maybe I do ask too many questions, but let me let you know that now.
Yeah.
And I have a friend, she does all the craziest, wrongest things, eats with her mouth open, goes to the bathroom in front of the guy, farts, burps. Right. She does everything. She goes over the top. Yeah. And her point is, because if you can accept me like this, we good.
We good.
So
that's a good point.
She just, because we're always trying to
Yeah, that's so good.
I don't want you to see, she's like, She grew up with brothers, so she's like,
oh yeah, see,
you gonna see it all. True. You gonna see it all.
And and we have to get more comfortable, being uncomfortable, which is what that is. It's uncomfortable for me, because of my past. And when I did ask questions in the past, that's what I kept hearing was that label. Oh, you're insecure. Oh, you're this. Oh, you're that. But realistically, I should be able to say, hey, when you're always in the car every time we talk, that's a little weird.
It's reasonable.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why are you always
There's a pattern
in the car?
now.
Or make a joke about, what
I
mean?
It doesn't have to be deep in the argument.
Yeah, it doesn't.
There is a way.
There's a way for you to ask questions and that person, and pay attention to how they receive it.
And you never did.
No, I never asked a question. There was a time I heard a girl in the background, and I heard it was late at night, and I heard the girl say, are you still asleep? And I know, and I questioned, I was like, I was like, no, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear it. I talked myself out of what my gut already said, and your ears heard it. But I did end up addressing it later, and then he gave me the, I was over, that's just one of my friends, and you know what it is. You feel it. But the problem is you want to believe the good in people. You want this, this is the first time I've had a man who prayed for me in the morning and prayed for me at night. So this is something new. I've not experienced this. I want this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and just, let me brush that to the side. He's getting ready to move back here for me to pursue me anyway. So, boom. But then I had a dream. And the dream is what did it. The dream. So I have this dream. I'm in a car, and there's a passenger, and we pull up to a house. I can't see the passenger's face, but the person gets out, and he rolls up to this house. I'm assuming it's a guy, and rings the doorbell. The person comes out, and he shoots them and kills them. And then I do the exact same thing 2 more times. So the same exact thing happens 3 times in a row in my dream. I wake up that morning and, we in Texas, there was like a huge roach in my bathroom, which I never get them upstairs in my bedroom. And so I kill this roach. I'm like, ugh. And no, roaches are big.
This is Texas. Roaches is not like,
not like you dirty roaches.
It's not like, projects. You ain't put your food up last night roaches. These are like some different special roaches. They breed them in the South.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And so I kill this roach. I go downstairs to get my protein shake. There's another roach that's in the kitchen. So I'm already like, okay, this is too much. I kill that roach. Then I go to the garage, and right before I open the door to the garage, there's one that's on the floor. And when I went to kill that, out of my mouth, I said, God, I am tired of doing this over and over. And then I get in the car, and I sat in the car for a minute, and I was like, Jillian, listen to what you just said. You said, God, I am tired of doing this over and over. I said, you woke up this morning, you killed 3 roaches. You woke up from a dream where someone got killed 3 times. And I said, you can't.
Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Yes. Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. And I felt it in my spirit. And I asked my therapist, I went to therapy and I told her about the dream. And she said, typically in a dream, you play all the characters in your dream. She said, even though you can't see their face or whatever, like you are those people. She said, so you're the person driving the car, you're the passenger, and you're the one who got out and you killed yourself. And I was like, I'm killing myself. So what did I do? I said, God wants me to not deal with this man. I felt it. But the problem was I called that man up and told him about the dream. You gave him a chance to talk you all about of it. That dream wasn't about me. I mean, what's somebody going to say if you say, I had this dream and I killed 3 roaches?
And roaches, by the way.
Yeah, I'm roach on you dirty, your house crack, right? And it's like, I should have never told him about the dream. I should have simply done what I started to do, which was I told him, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I was like, something doesn't feel right about this. But I let him talk me out of it because deep down inside, I still wanted this, my happily ever after. Mm-hmm. And that right there, I think was the entire lesson of me going through all of this stuff. It was God saying to me, you are not listening to me inside of you. Because that's what intuition is. It's the Holy Spirit. Mm-hmm. You're not listening to me. And I'm giving you everything you need. I'm telling you. We always want God to give us a sign, but we want our sign to look like what we want it to look like. Like, God, I need you to send me a letter in the mail. Like, what's that movie? Miracles for... No, what was it called? The Shack. I need a letter in the mail with no footprints in the snow.
Just like this.
Like, And it's like, no, that's not. I gave you a dream, and I let you kill something 3 times in a row just to confirm what I already told you dream.
How many of us have had those moments where we try to unsee what we saw, unhear what we heard, unfeel what we felt, because the heart wants what it wants, and it doesn't understand logic. And so we're making emotional decisions because we may or may not have enough emotional intelligence to recognize the patterns because we're too close.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing, y'all. It's not that something is wrong with you because you made a mistake or because a relationship occurred that you feel like I should have known better. Yeah. There's no, why am I going through this again? The reason why we continue to make the same mistakes is because there's more for us to learn.
Oh, yeah.
There's more for us to learn. And so when we come back, we're going to talk about not only what you've learned, but what you're doing to take your proverbial failure and turn it into fuel. And how you're now using your story as a testimony to fuel your next path. So we'll talk about that when we come back. So just stay tuned.
We'll be back with more Superpower Her with your host, Dia Direct.
Have you ever been in a relationship, personally or professionally, that has failed? And it made you feel lost and discouraged? Well, what if I told you that you can literally leverage every single painful situation and make your pain pay you back? After all, it costs you something. Just like with a bank account, you want to get some interest off of everything that you've been through. All the tears, all the time, all the effort. Make it pay you back. Use it. Leverage it. Check out my Amazon #1 bestseller, Failure is Fuel, and experience how my testimony can fuel your life to the next level.
We're back where Superfly women testify. It's the Superpower Her podcast with your host, Dia Direct.
Everybody has a testimony. And you can't have a testimony without a test.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to be able to talk about or give advice or say, here's what you need to do this. Yeah. But how do you really know? How do you really know what you would or would not do unless you're tested?
Oh, yeah.
Right? How do you really know what you're made of unless you've gone through something and came out on the other side consistently? Because anybody can do something once or twice, right?
Right.
So you've now been in a narcissistic relationship more than once, right? Now you're on the other side of it. Talk to me about what this side looks like for you, and what are you doing with it?
Yeah, so one, my therapist even said this. She said, because you've gone through this before, you'll heal a lot quicker. Mm-hmm. You know, the healing will be a lot quicker because you already know what to do. Mm-hmm. You know, so I had to, take a look back at the last experience and say, okay, so I need to be around people that I love, it's necessary because I know what can happen if I stay at home and I stay in the bed. When you are feeling depressed, it will wipe you out.
Speak on it, because people are in shame. Somebody right now is in bed or they've gone through something and they're embarrassed.
Like I know how challenging it is to want to stay at home in the bed. And I know what it's like. You don't want to be around people. That's just like, keep it real. We don't want to be around people when we're sad, when we're depressed, we're crying. I don't want people seeing me looking like this. I didn't even want to go to the gym. I hadn't been to the gym in 3 months until last week. I went and was like, hey guys, remember me? And I mean, but what I would do is I would walk. I would go walking or I would go running because I still need to be active because I know that helps my healing process.
How? Talk about it.
Oh, I mean, you have to get your adrenaline going. It helps your brain to get function right. You got to be active because it's helping your body and it's helping to give you everything that you need to be able to focus. Mm-hmm. And and so being around people I love, making sure that I'm still out doing something active, and then affirming myself. And hey, we got to tell ourselves who we are, because for all this time you've been told for the last however many months, that I'm broken. So I got to tell myself, you are not broken. You are not broken. You are whole. You are healed. You are an amazing individual. You are phenomenal. God loves you. You're God's child. And almost like reconvince myself of who I was before I met that person. Remember who you were, Julian? You're great. And so that's another piece of it too. And then going to therapy, before, when I had experienced this in the past, we talked about this. My dad had to convince me to go to therapy because I was not anything I was trying to do at all. Now I was like, all right, I'm going to see you every week now. Okay. Rabia, it's me again. What you got open? Like, and there wasn't, I had to sacrifice that because it's expensive. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't a compromise there. It was, you got to go.
When we really want something, even no matter how broke we might be, you find a way.
Oh, yeah. You will find a way.
Find a way.
Hey,
it's just about what you value.
Yeah. Alani, you're going to eat Fruit Loops for the whole month. But I'm going to therapy. I'm going to therapy. That's just what it is. So, yeah, those are some things that I knew I needed to jump right into in order to kickstart the healing process.
Tammy Franklin, who's married to Kirk Franklin, talked about, hey, listen, especially Christians, go to therapy, y'all. And go to therapy when things aren't always bad. I tell people very openly all the time, therapy literally saved my life.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Because I know what it's like to not want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay? Mm-hmm. And at that time, when I was in Los Angeles, it was really the only thing during that period that I had to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
It gave me something to do. Mm-hmm. And he allowed me to pay what I could.
Oh, yeah.
Because I didn't have...
Oh, yeah.
It was just,
and a lot of therapists will work with you. And the people don't know that.
Mm-hmm. Right. But it's also that. Even the fear of going someplace and not being able to afford it, and all the shame, all the things that kind of keep us back from getting what we need, right?
Yep.
So what was interesting though is because I wasn't working at the time, and my therapist said to me, "You need to go get a job." And he's like, "I know that's not what you came to LA for, but you need something to look forward to every day.
Yeah.
You need something where your day has beginning, middle, and end, because now you have no structure. So you have to be very careful about just floating, because you need a regiment." And what happened was, even though it wasn't, I was working in the HIV/AIDS field at the time, and I had done that in my previous life. But what happened was, literally like in 3 months, I probably got 3 promotions.
Oh wow, are you serious? See,
it was. I just needed to. It wasn't like my ideal job.
Yeah.
But it was good for me to be reminded that I could.
You're appreciated,
and
too.
that I still have. I have something to offer.
Yeah.
And there are people who will appreciate you. And so sometimes, even what seems like taking a step back, you have to put yourself in a situation to just help rebuild you. And you will, and because you've already gone through whatever you've gone through before, you will actually surpass it. On that same note, we talked about this yesterday, because if you've experienced pain in a relationship, there's a point where it's kind of like, okay, I don't want to do this no more.
I don't need no more testimonies.
I don't want to put myself in a situation no more to like be hurt. And so a lot of people become hard. And one of the things, and it's kind of hard to communicate, but one of the things that I try to communicate is, here's the difference. You do know more.
Yeah, you do.
And which means you don't have to run away from the thing that your heart really desires, because you know more about you. You're not lying to you as much as you may have before. You know the signs more, right? Because so you can see them. So even if somebody is that way, they won't be able to stay that long, because you will cut it off because you see it. You know something different. But to give somebody power to prevent you from still having an open heart. That's too much. Is your heart still open now?
My heart is, I am open to love. I'm open to love. I believe that there are good men that exist. That's one. Being completely honest with myself right now at this moment, I sat down with my therapist and I told her, I said, I don't want to be the bitter person, and I don't want to be the person who is looking at every man sideways, because that, I'm just being real, like that is where I am. Like I'm meeting people, you know, and then it's a sensitive time right now. I'm not even trying to date at all. Like it's not even on my radar. Yeah, I'm trying to heal, like really, really heal and learn more about me and recreate this new person that I feel like is developing, and really embrace this new person. So, you know, I said to her, I was like, how do I not do that? And she said it's time, but making sure that your heart is open. And she said that even with the past relationship and what I went through, because I started to feel like, you know, I was good. I was 3.5 years without dating anybody before I met him. So I'm like, what? Like I was angry at myself, like, and then the one time I opened my heart, you know what I mean? And she was like, you have to open your heart. It's just like going to the gym is what she said. You have to open your heart because it needs work. You know, you got to open it up so that you can put in work, good or bad. It needs to be open so that it's working. And I'm like, okay, all right. It's still there. It's still there. You know what I mean? But it's all timing. I know for sure though. I'm open to love, man. I still believe in it, and I, you know. Not everybody is bad. Not everybody's a narcissist, you know. I've had other relationships with people who are good people. It just didn't work out. But I believe that there are good people that do exist. And God will give me one.
Amen.
He will. And I ain't looking for him. He gonna bring them to me.
It will manifest.
Right? It will.
And healing is ongoing. I don't even know if there's like this ultimate place where you're healed fully.
No.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because there's so many aspects to you know what I mean? So yeah, I might be healed in this area, but then there's this, you know what I mean? It's like
there'll be a new something to conquer always.
There's always, and that's just it's a part of life. It's like the ultimate puzzle, you know. We're just putting together all of these little pieces here, and we might not ever complete that puzzle, But, you said something the other day about, just, in your video I was watching about, enjoying the process. Like, hey, good or bad, let's start to respect and appreciate the process. That was so good. And I mean, it really resonated with me because I'm like, yeah, appreciate the process. Good or bad. I'm learning something through it that's making me better. And no, there's not been one moment in my life where something that hasn't been so painful, even my dad's death, which I thought it's over. Even that, I learned so much through his death. I learned I got to get my stuff together, my funeral, my stuff, get stuff organized, be prepared for that. That's one, you just learn so much. I learned about, God, I put a lot of expectations on my father. And I to the point where I went to him before I went to God. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize until he was gone and I couldn't go there anymore. Mm-hmm. You're the first person I call. Mm-hmm. And the guy has been sitting here like, when you gonna come to me? Mm-hmm. So now, I mean, those things, but I wouldn't have been able to get to that point if my dad didn't pass away.
When I interviewed somebody who you've worked with, Tammy Roman, she said the same thing about her mother's death.
Oh, wow.
She said that, this process of having lost her mom a few years ago, it taught her, she had to grow up.
Yep.
She had to grow up because she always went to her mother. Even when she was tripping, her mother was the one that would make everything else okay. Yep. And she would pick up all the loose pieces, and she didn't have that luxury anymore. Man. And she was like, I've got to get me together. That's not an option anymore.
Self-awareness kicks in real quick when the people that you've depended on for your entire life are gone. You realize that. And I feel like there's still that part with these relationships. It's like, what can I take from this relationship? There were a lot of great things that came out of this horrific relationship. It was not all bad. The bad was bad. The bad was bad. Don't get me wrong. Wouldn't do it again if I had a choice. But there were so many good pieces that I could take from it that I could say, oh, shoot.
It adds to your pattern. It's like a quilt.
Oh, it's a quilt. It is.
It's like a quilt, And so it's just and I don't know, every situation is different. But what I realized in a lot of the things that I wanted to attain, sometimes the biggest and most enjoyable part of it in hindsight was the process of getting to it.
Yeah.
And then once you got it, yes, it was good, but it wasn't like the answer.
Oh, yeah.
That just made the whole world go like, okay, now everything in the world, you think if you get a certain amount of money, or if you get a house, or if you get a that, like we said earlier, there's a cost to everything. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So now, how are you making your pain, which is one of my superpowers, how are you making your pain pay you back in this situation and paying it forward?
Yeah. Helping other people to feel comfortable enough to share their truth is one thing. Showing them how to do it. Encouraging people to look at healing in a different way. Knowing that they're not alone, and here are some ways that you can heal, like some of the things we just talked about. And but just giving people a safe space to just talk is the biggest thing.
Safe space is huge.
Oh my gosh, and I am so blessed that the last two events that I've done, people have showed up and they feel so free to just say like everything that they cannot say to their family or their friends because they can't relate because they've never been through an emotionally abusive relationship. So what that's like. It's
Judgment,
like
right?
you can't get it. So you're now in a place that's a safe space where people understand. And it's a good place to be when you're like, oh my God, people around me get it.
Guess what you just created for yourself?
What's that?
A tribe.
I'm getting my tribe. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. And even, it's so funny, my therapist said, she was like, I think I'm going to have to drop you as my client because I think I'm going to be a part of your tribe. And I was like, you know what? No. No. Let me think on that. Let me pray on it because I need you as my therapist. But I get it. Like, I'm starting to create. You're right. Girl, I'm glad I'm here. Brought it all together.
You're creating what you need. And isn't that what they tell entrepreneurs to do?
Yeah.
Invest in things that you either want or need, right? That you use. And so it's the same thing in life. It's like either you wait for people to tell you you're enough, you wait to be discovered, you wait to get the job, or if it's not happening at the rate that you want it to, you figure out, how do I respond to what I want most? Because here's the thing, in any relationship, Nobody knows what you want and need more than you do.
Oh, yeah.
And so you have to teach people about you and vice versa. But what's so unique about it is in the middle of what can often feel like your lowest point.
Yeah.
Where you don't have a choice but to rely on God.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
God will then take you at your lowest, weakest moment, and he will show you that where you are weak is where I am strong.
Oh, my gosh.
And not only that, but that very thing that you've been looking for, I've had for you the whole time. And so literally, I'm taking your test.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use it to fuel you into your future. And you will see that the very thing you've been yearning for, you are now a conduit.
Yeah, yeah.
And you are becoming the answer for other people and creating the atmosphere that you wish you had in your weakest moment. Yeah. And I want to
preach, Pastor.
I want to speak to your spirit in this because everybody's not going to go on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
And tell their story and share their heart and pour it out the way that you did. And if you haven't seen it, you can check her out and see just how transparent she was at JJ on the mic on Instagram. And also, what's your page on YouTube?
Yeah, it's JJ on the mic on YouTube. You do youtube.com/JJ on the mic.
Got it. So, and JJ is just that, J and J.
Yes, 2 letters.
So essentially what you did is, because everybody can't do that for various reasons, they don't want to, it's not their personality, the consequences are just, personally or professionally or otherwise, too many consequences, right? You have the unique freedom, which, depending on how you see freedom, could be, but it's working for your good.
Oh, it is.
You have the unique freedom to speak freely and the courage to speak freely, and as a result of that, for every eye that has seen that, who can relate, if ever they come in your presence or anything that you do, they will know that it's safe. And that is the role of an evangelist or a leader, which is we have to take risks when nobody else is willing to do it.
Yeah.
We have to be willing to be laughed at.
Yep.
We have to be willing to be exposed. So that others might find their way.
Oh, yeah. That's so good.
And so often
That's
the
so
positions
good.
of weakness are very powerful when we submit them to God.
Oh, gosh.
And he will use it for your good.
Something happened that you just sparked in my brain. When I went on the fast, there was a moment I was sitting in my bathroom, and at this time I told the guy, I said, I'm not going to talk to you for 30 days. He would still text. I was like, verbally, I don't want to talk to you or see you. I was sitting in my bathroom. It was like Jesus was standing right in front of me, and he said, I need you to affirm him. And I was like, whoa, no, sir, you got me all messed up. He was like, no, I need you to affirm him every day for the rest of your fast. And I looked at that's 30 days, Lord. He said, starting today. And I said, how am I going to do that? I don't even like him right now. You know what I mean? I'm angry. And he said, don't look at him like you look at him like I do. And I said, okay. So I started this affirmation. The very first time I sent it, it was an affirmation, it was a scripture, and then a little blurb, like, whatever, how I felt about him. And I said, God, he's going to think I want to get back with him, because this was a time when we were trying to figure out our relationship. And I was like, I don't want him to think that. God was like, don't worry about what he thinks, don't worry about how he responds.
Obedience is better than sacrifice.
The first response, he wrote back, he said, oh, this was nice. Did you write this all by yourself? And I was like, Lord? I mean, literally, I sat at my desk.
You trying me.
You trying me. Lord, did you hear that? God said, hey, keep doing what I'm asking you to do and just trust, right? I was like, this don't make no sense. So, I kept sending that. 7th day, I wanted to throw up.
I see where you're going with this.
I wanted to throw up. The 7th day, I was like, I can't do this no more, God. And God, I said, how do you want me to do this? And he said, you need to look through my eyes and stop looking through your eyes. This is still my child. I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm so serious. And I mean, it was just It was too much. It was so much. And I got through those 30 days and I affirmed this man for 30 days. And I'm not saying this to brag on my all, because this was all God's work. I mean, his words. Let it be your words, Lord, because I ain't God. I don't know. But I had to fix my face and I had to fix my heart, because he told me to do it joyfully. And so the end of the 30 days, I still was so confused. I don't know why you had me affirm this man at all. And later, it was, months later, God said, it was so clear. He said, I was telling you to tell him the things you needed to hear for yourself. And I didn't know that that's what it was. He said, I was giving you what you needed to do for yourself. And I was like, no. Oh, okay. And this is how he works. He does things that don't make any sense.
Confounds the mind.
It don't make, it don't make no sense.
I wouldn't put that together at all.
No. But, and that's what it was. And this is what I've learned in this process. I'm like, gosh, God, you do a lot of things that don't have anything to do with this other person here or this person here.
Your logic can't put it together.
You can't, but that's how he is. That's the omnipotent God. You too powerful. I can't figure it out. And now, but when you give me those opportunities where it's like, okay, now I'll show you. This is what it is. 30 days. Is it a coincidence that I released a 30-day journal? I have been working on that prior to that, but I never got it done until my fast. I did not get my journal done until I fasted. That shows you one thing too. You have to stay away from toxic people, because you'll wonder why your business is failing, why you can't get nothing accomplished, why you can't get to the gym, why you can't, you know what I mean? Like so many things, because you're around all these toxic people. So when I let him go and I went on this fast, I got stuff done. I finished my book.
And what is your book called?
It's called Respect My Crown. Respect My Crown.
Put some respect on your crown.
Put it on there. A whole lot. And it's a 30-day affirmation journal to manifest your vision. And really, it is about self-love and self-awareness. I'm asking questions in there that you're going to be mad at. You're going, she going to ask me this? I got to think about this. And, every day has a really powerful affirmation. It's sassy, it's cute. I talk just like you and I talk. It's like, girl, what you gonna do about this? Like when you read it, it's gonna sound just like you're listening to one of your girlfriends.
I love it. That's what we love.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How do we get the book, girl?
It's on Amazon, or you can go to jjonthemic.com. You can get it that way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think people will really enjoy it. I would give it to your little sister, or you know what I mean? I think the book is like for women 18 and up. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so how are you putting respect on your crown now?
Girl, listen, set boundaries. That's one. Mm-hmm. Setting them boundaries. I am speaking my truth, and I'm not confused about it. I'm not feeling guilty about it at all. And I'm owning my truth. And I'm helping others to grow. And I feel like, when you think about respect my crown, it can be so many things, right? It can be respecting your body. This is our crown, our temple. You know what I mean? Like, how am I treating my body? What am I putting in my body? Respect my crown can be my brain. Hey, I'm not letting no more toxic people around screw my brain up. I don't need no more of that. So now I'm on it. Senses are heightened. I'm like, come on. You tried it. Bye.
So you're protecting your energy.
Protecting my energy, yes. And taking time out. Respect my crown is self-care and self-awareness. I am making sure every day, today I went to the Japanese garden here, sat out there in the garden because this is what I love. I love nature. Do what it is that I love, even if it's just a half hour a day or 10 minutes a day. Mm-hmm. I love myself enough to do this. I love myself enough to get rid of toxic people. I love myself enough to watch what food I am putting into my body. Like, I love myself enough, and that's respecting my crown.
Even if it makes other people uncomfortable or disappointed. Yeah. Because I know, I didn't want to stop talking before we address that part, which is sometimes in following your intuition and being obedient to what is helping to embrace your self-care
will require
require other people to leave.
Oh yeah, a lot of people have left. A lot of people
When
have
you
left.
say a lot, what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's been about 10 people. That's a lot to me. People that I communicate with, bi-weekly, monthly, or whatever, that have left my life. People who I may not have considered them necessarily friends, but you were right outside the friendship box. You know what I mean? Close associate. So
Kind of like in your tribe, but
yeah. Like you was almost there. And I've had to just accept it. A lot of people can't handle the truth. Like the cliche. It sounds cliche. You can't handle the truth. No, a lot of people really cannot handle the truth.
It makes them uncomfortable because often it makes them have to look at some things that they don't want to look at.
Oh, yeah.
It's inconvenient.
It is. Oh, girl. And then they're projecting something else. So that, I've dealt with some victim shaming from people because this is public and the relationship was public. It doesn't surprise me people would publicly, victim shame. And but I've had to really step back.
A lot of women?
Oh, women. Yeah, they're all women. They're all women. And it's really unfortunate. And I took it really personal in the beginning. There's nothing worse than somebody saying, I know she's lying. I know the story. And I'm like, ma'am, have you even been to my house? Have you been with us alone? Did you watch my child cry herself to sleep at night? Like, you don't know anything. But I had to stop taking it personal. And I had to sit in therapy, and the therapist broke it down to me. She's like, Jillian, people are projecting their fears onto you. They can't believe somebody would be so honest. They deal with their own things that they don't want to face. And so what you're seeing has nothing really even to do with you. And true enough, there are going to be people who defend the other person. That happens because they don't see that side of him. They don't even think that person exists. So you take that into consideration.
And you also represent hope for them.
Oh, gosh.
So that if you couldn't make it, or whatever picture it is that they saw on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
If you couldn't make it, what does that mean for them?
Yeah, that's good, too.
They lost, so you represent their hope.
Yeah, so that went to twos.
And they resent you for messing with their hope.
Oh, yeah. How dare you do that to me? Yeah, I really believe that. So, yeah, there's a lot of people that, you will lose and be grateful for it. Because the type of people that I know I need around me, especially during my healing process, are not those people. I don't need people who straddle the fence. I don't need people who support abusers. I've had to make decisions in my life to not support certain people. Once I found out the truth about them, I have to let them go. And it's just, that's where I am.
So what's your superpower in closing?
Girl, transparency is my superpower. I don't get it right all the time. I might not even get it right most of the time. But you're going to know who I am. I am who I say that I am, flaws and all. And I have no problem sharing that. And I hope more people will do it because it's the one way for sure I know that we grow and learn. Like this is what it is. Just be who you are.
Y'all listen. First of all, thank you.
Thank you
for sharing your superpower with us and being transparent and sharing your story. And JJ has done a lot. Where she's sharing this part of her life, we didn't even talk about all the things that she's accomplished because you can see that part. That's the part you can see and look up in Google and all that. This is the other side. And this is the beautiful part of having these kind of transparent conversations. This is what success looks like. This is what the journey looks like. This is what the discovery zone looks like. This is what the next level looks like. The next level looks crazy before it gets right.
Yes.
It looks really confusing. Yeah. There are more questions than there are answers.
Yeah.
And you are in